I'm doing it! I'm doing it! We're live! It's WAN show time! Or rather, it was WAN show time a little while ago, but we ran into an issue. Can I get that tangle of fans, actually, Alex? Do you mind? Yeah, so just to give you guys some idea of what sort of problem we were dealing with before the show here. Well, this is part of it, and Alex probably has some other parts of it, but not on hand because he's actually still working on the video that we were. Oh, that's good. Yep. Yeah, we got. There's going to be some definite, School of Hard Knocks engineering going on in this video right here. So that should be pretty good. But we've got a great show for you guys today. I think, as you may or may not have noticed, I have. What's this? Hi, everybody. Oh, I see. I don't understand the politically correct culture these days. Are we even allowed to do that? Yeah, like I don't know. Is that is that Italian or like are you allowed to?
It's Dr. Nick.
Yeah,
he's a minority because there's only one Dr. Nick.
Yeah, but so I don't know if you're allowed to do that. No,
that's canon. You can do that.
No, I was recently informed that you're not allowed to say. Max is a member of a Facebook group where you're not allowed to say y'all because it's cultural appropriation. And I was kind of sitting here going, but that's just a word, isn't it? Just
it's appropriating whom?
Not who you'd think is all I'm really going to get into. But yeah, I just thought, what's it called? A conjunction?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was just you all.
It is.
Yeah, I thought that.
I guess it depends who started it, but I think the people who started it are part of an imperialistic, capitalistic society. It's fair game, because that society is grounded and formed around appropriation. That's all they do. That's all we do.
All right, well, we've got a bunch of great topics for you guys today. Intel launches Xeon-W for workstations, further separating their server Xeon products from their Core i7, Core i9, and Core i whatever else, and also Pentium consumer products.
And Ryzen Threadripper gets rounded out with the final chip, the 1900X. It has arrived.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was really waiting for it, but we'll talk about that in more depth later. AMD is rumored to be losing $100 or more on every Vega 64 they sell, which would be pretty bananas if true, although I have no guarantee whatsoever that it actually is. And what else we got here?
And Linus's phone number and email are probably on the internet now, as there's been a huge Instagram breach of 6 million users' data.
Oh.
Yeah.
Great, I'm glad we're covering that.
Hey man, news is news. This is unbiased, objective journalism. You're looking into it right now, aren't you?
No. Fake news. That's Luke sitting on the couch in the intro. Fake news.
No, that's me on the right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the right.
Wait, what? All right, so for those of you who aren't familiar, this is James. He's one of the new writers. I don't even know if it's fair to call you guys new anymore. Have you been here, what, like 6 months almost? Something like that? I don't know, 5?
Since February.
February?
That's like 6 months.
Yeah, that's like 6 months.
Yeah.
That's freaking...
Thank you, Colton.
Freaking crazy, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, people are apparently throwing things out there. So James is actually the one who prepares the WAN show document for us every week and has been doing so for about the last...
the entire time.
Yeah, pretty much since you started, right?
Started, yeah.
Yeah, so the first week he did it, it kind of sucked.
That's not true.
And then the second week, it was like pretty decent. And since then, I mean, honestly, it's been kind of hard to tell the difference, which either means that James is a rock star or means that Colton was just frankly never any better at this than some guy who started like
both.
2 weeks ago.
Bit of both.
All right, so first topic here is Threadripper. I know it wouldn't be WAN show.
I wish I could.
Without
I don't have
all the Threadripper news.
See what I have to work with here. He gets touchscreens.
Oh yeah, poor you.
This
2016
sucks.
A 2016 LG Gram.
And who has the 2017 one?
Me.
You. It's a way gramier.
Because that is the way of the world.
That's the curl of the burl.
Big dog, and then table scraps dog. Oh, that's how it's going to be. All right. So the original topic here was posted on the forum by Ono Tech. And basically, I don't even know. I don't get it. How is this even newsworthy? Why is this even in here? You can explain
There's
it to me.
Threadripper in the title, dude. That's news. Am I right?
Unfortunately, yes.
Look at the
Anything
KPIs.
Threadripper related is news, but this is a SKU that beyond a very limited use case, frankly, I don't really understand. So the Threadripper 1900X has the same 64 PCIe lanes as the other Threadripper SKUs. It's got the same LGA, whatever it is, TR4 socket as the other Threadripper SKUs. It's got a nice, high base clock, 3.8 versus 3.6 gigahertz for the 1800X, which is the lower clocked, actually very similar version of kind of the same processor, because this is only an 8-core chip. So it's more comparable to the 1800X in terms of its performance than it is to its bigger brothers, the 1920X and the 1950X.
Right. To spin it another way, it basically almost is the 1900X, except with a slightly higher base clock.
You mean the 1800X?
The 1900X is almost like the 1800X, except it has a higher base clock, and it basically grants you access to all the X399 goodies for $50 more.
So for $50 more, you get the privilege of buying a more expensive motherboard.
Right. Quite a bit more expensive motherboard.
Yeah, a lot more expensive motherboard. Not to mention that now you can go buy quad channel memory. Quad channel memory that will probably never be necessary for any kind of reasonable workload for an 8-core processor. Now, to be clear, I can come up with a... Thanks, Bixby. I don't know what prompted Bixby to start yakking over there. Now, to be clear, there are a couple workloads I can think of for this. So, for example, Asus released, what was it? I think a 19 PCIe slot motherboard. I'm gonna have to double check this. It might not have been 19. Yeah, here it is. Asus debuts the B250 Expert Mining Ethereum motherboard with 19 PCIe slots. So with a Threadripper chip, you could theoretically do like 60 of them? So you could literally just cover like an eATX motherboard in PCIe 1X slots and power adapters. Apparently, I didn't even realize this. It's not just graphics cards. It is also 1,000 watt plus power supplies that are running into huge supply issues right now. I was talking to a system builder.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I was down at Puget Systems yesterday, as some of you guys are probably aware if you saw the stream, and they're like, yeah, it's like actually a problem. We're having a hard time getting 1,000 watt power supplies. Which may also explain
Okay, you go.
why Corsair didn't want to send us their AX1500i for that build that we're doing. Because they can probably turn around and sell that thing like Billio.
Yeah, but what's worth more to them? The retail price of that power supply or whatever exposure we hope?
Well, I don't know.
their
That's like a
customers would get.
$400+ power supply, so it's pretty significant.
Yeah, but the ad inventory on our channel is worth more than $400.
Yeah, maybe. The 1,000 watt power supply that is no problem for us to get is the $1,000 one, though.
That puppy's 1,200 watts.
Is it 1,200 watts?
It's 1,200 watts.
I thought it was 1,000 watt.
No.
Do you want to talk about the build that you have coming up?
Kinda, but it's kinda secret too.
No, I don't think it's. Oh, well, okay, we don't have to.
It uses an embargoed case.
Yes. Okay, uses an embargoed case, but I know you guys saw, some of the low end stuff that we're always focused on, okay? And you guys were like, Linus, why are you guys always doing, all the low end stuff all the time? I want something that I can't afford.
I want to see a $6,000 Threadripper build.
And James is here to answer the call.
Yes, I am. It's pretty badass. It's got 128 gigabytes of RAM, which...
I didn't even know that.
It has 8 DIMMs, but wait, more importantly, they're all RGB.
You see, this is what I have to deal with around here. I'm no longer even in control of the ship. It's just like it doesn't just hit icebergs. It calls to the icebergs.
You've got icebergs working on the ship.
It takes like a big hook and it kind of goes, woo! Where'd the icebergs be at, beaches? And it pulls them in and kapow!
You don't even know yet. 6 months in, this is only the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, and I can't take full credit for all the terrible puns that have been in the videos recently either, as you guys can clearly see.
I think that we've hit peak pun. We're on the way down now. They've all been used. Like in the first build guide I did, which was the RGB build guide.
Yeah.
Every paragraph was a pun because you could talk about the chassis or the case and say, in this case. But now that's been done.
Yeah, but but that was your first time doing it. I had already done it many times.
So should we just keep them coming? They're always fresh every time.
I think we do keep them coming because, if you do that, then they'll always be in a state of ecstasy.
Or cringe. I'll admit it took me longer to get that than it should have. I had to look.
All right, so why don't we get back to the 1900X? So basically, the point of this chip is if you need quad channel memory, and you need a ton of PCIe lanes, but you don't want a high core count processor, or maybe, and this is the pitch that I've heard for something like a 7740X on the Intel side of things, maybe you want to invest in a platform that has greater opportunities for upgrading in the future, and you just don't have the money to spend right now.
So would that be someone who's maybe they're getting this for a professional use case, but it's still their side business? They haven't jumped in fully because we're talking about a high ceiling here.
Yes, we're talking you could go all the way from 8 to 16, or, word on the street is that AMD would love to deliver even more cores than that in their gaming lineup. And it wouldn't be that much of a stretch because, to my knowledge, the TR4 socket is not that different from the server socket. So there's already 32 core processors there. How much more of a challenge is it for them to deliver a 32 core on the desktop, assuming that we could figure out how to cool the bloody thing? Which is actually, maybe we'll talk about that in a little bit more depth later. That's a video that Anthony's been working on, like a Taming the Beast. Is air cooling or water cooling a better answer for these super high wattage new CPUs like Threadripper? And the answer may surprise you.
Ooh. I'm hoping this is going to be a callback to the D-Wave quantum computing. It's going to be up there.
Oh, right. You have to say.
Like, we have to pull a vacuum to cool a 32-core Threadripper. It's got to be superconductors and NIMA.
You know what? I've already filmed it, so it's far too late, and that's not in it. So you'll just have to sit and be sad. All right, let's move on to the quote-unquote frickin' huge Instagram breach. Apparently, I'm screwed. I haven't read this article yet. It was posted by Ollie on the forum. The original article here is from Ars Technica. But maybe James would like to explain exactly how I am screwed because of this.
I'm not sure you're screwed, but it's only $10 US to find out how screwed you are. So what happened was...
Great.
It started off as a bug.
What a value.
That's what your privacy is worth. So what started off as a bug or an exploit available from Instagram got totally scaled up by some industrious hacker. Basically, there was a bug. Some kind of data security research firm thought that this bug could not be exploited in an automated way. But then this hacker, who ended up contacting Ars Technica, did manage to automate it so that he was able to scrape this giant database of Instagram's 700 million users at a rate of, a million?
A million accounts per hour.
A million accounts per hour. So he managed to get 6 million accounts into a database. Then he put that database online in a queryable website. It's $10 a query. You can type in an Instagram handle and get either a phone number, an email, or both.
Wow.
So this person contacted Ars Technica and actually provided them with a 10,000 record example spreadsheet of the type of data that he had scraped. And then they had some statistics from that spreadsheet. So I think it was 4,000 out of the 10,000 had both emails and phone numbers.
Wow.
And then the remaining 6,000 had a mix. And then if you were looking at that spreadsheet based on the usernames, they found out that they were like verified actual accounts, not just bots or whatever. And they also found out that looking at the emails and the phone numbers, just based on area codes and stuff, it seemed like the personal data matched the accounts, and it looks real.
Interesting. So, to be clear, not everyone got breached. So, I mean, even at a rate of 1 million accounts an hour, it would have taken almost 2 weeks to download the entire 700 million user records. But it's still a significant problem. And, I mean, another thing is, I guess, realistically, there's not 700 million active users, so...
No, actually, if you look at graphs of user-to-post ratio, like the vast majority of Instagram accounts have never posted.
Right.
They're just created.
So probably you're okay, but also maybe you're super not okay. And...
Depends if there's any logic in the scrape and how it targeted people. But
Yeah.
the biggest risk here is that for some exposed people, it's their email and their phone that have been exposed. And didn't you get hacked one time?
It's a
Because
little
someone
more...
had your email and phone number?
It was a little more complicated than that, but yes, it is possible if you have someone's phone number and you know who their carrier is, and you can manage to convince their carrier that you are that person. It's possible to get a SIM issued in that number, and then you can use that phone to break into other
All sorts of
accounts
two-factor.
that are using two-factor authentication with the phone number as a backup. So, good luck, everyone. And let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. Amazon turns thousands of Twitch streamers, that's us right now,
Hey.
which is why we can't show you anything. Oh, no, can't show you that. Into product pitchmen.
That's
Or
right.
ladies, as it were. Original article here is from Bloomberg.
You know I like the Bloomberg. I always like to throw a couple Bloombergs in there.
Sure, that's fine.
I like it.
So Spencer Soper says Amazon.com Inc. will pay commission to gamers, artists, chefs, and others on its Twitch interactive video streaming service for selling products to their fans through its retail site. I mean, to be clear, it's not like Amazon wasn't already paying Twitch streamers to sell products to the people who were viewing. I mean, it's no secret that Linus Media Group is a member of the Amazon Associates affiliate program, and anyone who's a member of the program, if someone were to buy a product through their affiliate link, they would get a commission. I mean, that's something that legally you have to disclose.
The only thing that's
But-
new here,
Yes.
and they're calling this program The Gear on Amazon. The only thing that's new is that they've integrated these affiliate links and widgets right onto streamers' pages. So assumedly, we could at some point just point down and say, yeah, check out these headphones in this little picture right here. And I think the commissions are probably the same. It says you can get a commission of up to 10%, and I think most affiliates can get that provided you sell enough volume. But the lower end is usually 4%.
Yeah, at the low end, it's usually about 4% higher, and it depends on the category as well. So some categories, and I believe this is posted publicly, so I don't think...
Oh, definitely. You can just Google it. Anyone can join an Amazon affiliate program. You scroll down to the bottom of Amazon. There's like a become a partner or something link on the bottom. You can do this with Etsy and all sorts of websites.
Affiliate program. Yeah, it looks like you don't have to be logged in or anything like that. So, like digital services, for example, some of them are actually not percentage based. Like if you sign someone up for Prime, then you get just a fixed bounty. Sometimes they'll do bonuses. But yeah, here we go. So Amazon gift cards don't get anything anymore. Apparently, neither does wine. That's a funny thing, because I would think there's enough margin in alcohol that you could afford to...
That's kind of a little British turn of phrase you did there. Funny thing, that.
Oh, well...
I liked it.
Well, thank you. Video games and game consoles are a 1% commission.
Ooh, see, that's going to be harsh for the streamers for sure.
Yep. Televisions, 2%. PC components used to be closer to like 3.5 to 4, and now they are 2.5%. Toys are 3. So basically, the stuff that's easy to sell, where there's like so many like gaming sites and gaming blogs and game streamers where they just really, I guess, feel like they don't have to work that hard at it. Really low commission rates. But then you move up into digital music, physical music, handmade things, groceries, digital videos, 5%. You move all the way up to like headphones, musical instruments, business and industrial supplies. Whoa, now you're talking 6%. And you can get up to 10% for men's and kids' private label digital video games, luxury, beauty, Amazon coins, and Amazon fashion women.
Are there any Twitch streamers in the beauty cosmetic space, like there are on YouTube?
You know what? To be perfectly honest with you, I have never watched a Twitch stream outside of tuning into Luke's with like it muted to kind of talk to his chat. I don't really get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm old and stuff. So like I'm shaking my cane on the front porch like old man style. Like my kids are gonna be like, yeah, I watched whatever Gamertron person, and I'm gonna be like, go outside, go kick a ball, like go, just do anything but that. But I'm gonna be wrong, and those people are gonna be like the superstars of that generation, and I'm gonna be old, and I accept that. So there you go.
At least you're still saying going to be old.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm 31 now. I feel pretty old. All right, so let's have a look at our next topic here. Oh yeah, wait, did we go through like what's different about it? Really? Apparently the commissions will be available to 22,000 Twitch partners.
I really think it's just the widget. I think the 23,000 partners might just be the number of partners they have. Partners is just like creators who have signed up, or streamers who have signed up for the affiliate program, is it not?
Yeah, no, it depends because there's
they have
different.
to reach out to you.
Yeah, there's different tiers of Twitch partners. That's something that I do know because I know that Luke, even though he doesn't, or at times hasn't met like certain partner requirements as a partner, and then I think we are, even though we definitely don't meet the partner requirements.
They just like us.
Yeah, so it's a little bit complicated. All right.
But as far as Amazon's concerned, this is kind of just their version of YouTube. You know how Amazon touches everything, right? Mm-hmm. Prime is their Netflix. They've got grocery now. This, even though this is a much smaller version of a video platform. What did it say? They have 10 million viewers a day.
Crazy.
But compared to YouTube, that's nothing.
So, speaking of nothing, let's say your phone had nothing on it in terms of storage. This is pretty cool. SanDisk just launched their largest ever microSD card. But wait, it's exactly the same size as the other ones.
You mean it's still micro?
How else would it fit in the slot? Come on, you guys. Clearly we meant the capacity.
It's in.
It's the largest ever. It costs $250. But if you, for whatever reason, felt like you needed to carry around, like, what would that be? That's like, what, 15 Blu-rays worth of data? If you felt like if you had a phone that was capable of playing back, like, I don't even know. Can you do that? Can you play back like an MKV on a phone? I guess it's probably possible. Like, there's VLC. Are they powerful enough? Yeah. I mean, do they have hardware decoding for that?
Not sure. Actually, Android Oreo might. I know that Oreo just added some new codecs, like from Sony. There was a proprietary Sony codec that Oreo is supporting now.
It would depend on the hardware, though. So it would be if the Adreno GPU has like hardware decoding for that quality of H.265. I mean, probably. People are probably correcting me in Twitch chat, but yeah, I guess there's probably no reason you couldn't play back full quality Blu-rays on your phone.
Plus, a lot of phones are getting HDR now.
Other than that, it would be really stupid because honestly, on a phone screen, it is pretty hard to tell the difference between like a decent 720p video stream and like the highest quality that you can stream on Plex, let alone like a full Blu-ray quality.
But here's the question that was on my mind when I read this headline.
Yeah.
I kind of thought, big deal, like can't they release a headline like this every month. Like, is this just an incremental upgrade? Because these, just like processing power, like these things are just up and to the right at all times.
Yes and no. I mean, it has slowed down even in the time since Linus Media Group was founded. All of this stuff has slowed down significantly. Like, it used to be that you got a new like doubling of hard drive capacities. It felt like every few months. And in the time since I've been a PC enthusiast, so it must have been around 2003, 2004, when you went to the store and bought like a decent sized hard drive, it was 120 gigs.
Well, I remember the first computer that my family bought, it was 30 gigs.
Okay, so in 2003, 2004, like an enthusiast would run out and buy a hard drive that was anywhere from 80 to 120 gigs, and you could get higher ones, but they were like pretty pricey. Okay, when Linus Media Group started, that was 2003, that was 10 years later.
13.
It was about 3 terabytes. Since then, so that is what? A factor of what? So times 10 times 3. So that's 30 times the size in that 10 years. So since then, we've gone from 3 to 12. So we've managed to 4x, and it's been almost 5 years. So think about that.
Well, I actually catfished you a little bit because the answer to my question's in the show notes. Because this new 400 gigabyte card is going to be the new world record holder for this format. And the previous holder that they're displacing was Samsung, who had 256 gigabytes.
Yep.
And that's just last year.
But it had been a little while. So that's something that you might not be factoring in. And honestly, I think the bigger deal for mobile storage for flash cards is really going to be a speed increase versus just continuing to ramp up the capacity, because we've got standards like what's that? There's a new super small card standard. It's escaping me right now. But we've got standards coming that are going to perform much more similarly to a full-speed SATA drive or even a PCI Express drive. And this card, sure, 400 gigs, but it only copies data at 100 megabytes a second.
Ooh.
So it would actually take a really, really long time to fill it up. Like, it's not like you could use your phone as like a super high speed, external drive for your laptop when you're on the road and you're video editing or something like that. Not at those kinds of speeds.
No, that's bunk.
So I don't really understand what you're going to be keeping on it unless it's something ridiculous like, oh, I need to carry my Blu-ray collection with me.
Yeah, eventually this is just going to be your way, way, way cold storage backup. This is your Amazon Glacier.
Micro SD cards? Micro SD cards? Yeah,
I got the whole business here.
Amazing storage density. Don't mind that the cost is just completely uncompetitive with tape. Don't worry about that. Also, the incredibly complicated controller we need to access, what would that be? That would be like, 1,000 micro SD cards in the space of a single tape drive cartridge. Like, what controller is that? Because you'd basically be looking at like an incredibly complex SSD controller by that point. All right, what else we got for today? What else is interesting?
You want to talk about this orbiTouch stuff?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Like, I normally organize the show notes with more boring things or niche things at the bottom, and this is pretty close to the bottom, but I feel like I'm here, and I think it's kind of cool.
Sure.
The screenshot is in the show notes, so we should just open it that way. So basically, we've been on like this wonky keyboard kick for a little while. Hey. I just work here. Yeah. So I've done like 3 alternative keyboards. We did the Advantage 2, which is an ergonomic one. Then we did the Safe type keyboard, which is just a more obscure ergonomic keyboard. And now we've done the orbiTouch, which is coming out on Flowplane and on YouTube soon. So the orbiTouch is a keyless keyboard. It's got these 2 domes that you move around in a coordinated fashion. The process is called chording. So basically there's, I think, 8 or so different clusters of letters on the one hand, and you point to one cluster, and then with the other hand you specify which symbol in the cluster you actually want to do.
Sounds like a cluster to me.
Woohoo! Okay, but beyond the actual keyboard, the company has actually ported this same typing method to VR. And while the keyboard is aimed at people who have low finger dexterity, in VR, it's actually probably just the better way to type for everybody.
Right, because you just gesture for which key you want to press. Unfortunately, your link doesn't work because you linked to your own inbox.
Oh, I didn't know that worked that way.
Yeah, no, that's definitely
Just
not
show
a
my
thing.
inbox.
But I'm not logged in.
You have the keys.
Sort of.
Go to LastPass, get my password, go to my email.
No,
show
I
everybody.
can't. I don't have your LastPass information. That's not how LastPass works. I actually can't look at what you store in it without locking you out. So
maybe I'm using it wrong. I shouldn't have put that in there. Anyway, the point is, everyone who's used VR has probably felt a little silly holding these kick-ass touch controllers and then using them to like laser beam a letter on a keyboard.
Yeah, it's
one at a
actually
time.
really inefficient. And the worst
bonkers.
part about it is that whenever you're pointing at a letter, when you pull the trigger, it like moves your hand a little bit. So typing with any kind of reasonable speed is actually pretty difficult.
And fatiguing. I mean, if you like to like Tom Cruise it and always hold your touch controller out like that instead of Brandon Leeing it and holding it close to your body, after all that typing time, your arm's gonna get tired, you know?
Speaking of your arms getting tired, let's go ahead and do one of our sponsor spots, Synergy. So Synergy allows you to use, it allows you to use one keyboard and one mouse with multiple systems. So let's say, for example, that I had a MacBook Pro that I like to use for development, and let's say, for example, that I had a Windows desktop that I like to use for gaming.
Typical.
Yeah,
Typical.
That's right. Instead of having to have a separate set of peripherals on my desk for each of them, I could just have a single keyboard and mouse hooked up to both of them through the network. So you just install Synergy on your systems, and boom, you can drag your mouse across the screens completely seamlessly. They've got a basic and pro option with a one-time payment for lifetime access, and the features include things like clipboard sharing between the computers, which is pretty freaking cool, dragging and dropping files between the computers, the ability to set up hotkeys, and more. And what's really cool about Synergy is that they actually give us a wicked, freaking awesome discount to give you guys. You can save 50% off Synergy by going to seamless.com/synergy/Linus25. That's seamless.com/synergy/Linus25.
What's the 25 stand for?
I don't know. Hopefully
Half
not.
the amount you'll get off.
Hopefully it's not like a 25% off code.
Maybe it is.
And like my notes are wrong, because it wouldn't be the first time that we did something like that.
It's just a vestige of the
Let's go
previous.
find out. No, it's all fine. It's all good. 50% off Synergy for Linus Tech Tips viewers. $9 or $14. Boom! No big deal. All right.
move.
We got two more sponsors for you today. First up is actually James's favorite sponsor.
Yes!
You use these every day, don't you?
I did until you guys took them away for this ad spot, and now
Oh, really?
I don't have a pair at my desk anymore.
Oh, you can take one
These
back.
are,
Yeah, okay.
I don't think these are going to work for me.
Which ones are yours? Do you prefer this one?
They look better on me, man. Come on.
These are the kids' ones. So, Spektrum. Spektrum is the lineup of blue light filtering glasses that makes it more comfortable to look at your monitor all day. Using a software solution like Flux or Twilight does not give you the same kind of filtering that these glasses do. They've got lots of different styles to choose from. Everything from like more kind of, these are the ones you were wearing,
No,
right?
they're not, but I think these will work.
Really? Oh, where did
No,
those
I
ones
wear
go?
like these Wayfarer, like thinner framed ones.
Oh, cool. All right, so everything from kind of like a thicker frame to kind of like a more fun frame. This one has cats on the inside, to even kid-friendly ones that are flexible so that they're less likely to break them. They're primarily focused around the Canadian and US market, but they're expanding to Europe and they ship internationally. And if you guys check them out at spektrumglasses.com/collection/products or at the link, wait, what? Dang it. There we go. Or at the link below, you can save 10% with offer code Linus.
I think they're trying to break into China eventually here.
You think so?
I think I heard that. Reliable source.
Are we allowed to say that? Are we like disclosing in a sponsor spot embargoed information from a sponsor?
That kind of stuff's not embargoed. Every company wants to go global.
You better
Nice
not
guys.
you better not get us in trouble with like your favorite sponsor.
I'm gonna get kicked in the nuts.
You're killing me here. All right, moving on. iFixit. So iFixit, do they really need an introduction at this point? Probably not, but we'll do it anyway. Hey Alex, can I have that iFixit kit that we were just using to complete a project that we just did?
Is that a Pro Advantage 2?
There you go, guys. iFixit. They've got the guides, whether it's an iPhone, an iMac, a Dell computer, some other phone. If it's a device, iFixit's got a guide for how to tear it apart and sometimes how to put it back together. And they're also leading the charge in terms of repair it yourself culture, because they not only provide the guides, they also have an extensive range of replacement parts, including really hard to find stuff like weird little adhesives or gaskets that are required to put a system back together, and tools like, yes, my friends, the ProTech Toolkit. It's now only $59.95 and includes their 64-bit driver kit, which has pretty much every bit you could possibly need, and a bunch of other cool stuff for prying, picking, poking, anti-staticking. Thank you, Bixby. I wasn't talking to you.
Can I mess with this thing for a sec?
What, Bixby?
No.
Yeah.
No, God,
this
no.
thing?
As a noob, I have found two things in particular that I like about this.
Yeah, we actually hired a noob as a writer. Like,
Never built a computer before.
This is kind of a, yeah, well, I was going to kind of get to that, but it's kind of a funny story from his interview. One of the questions that I asked every interviewee was, tell me about some projects that you have on the go right now. So Anthony, one of the other writers that we hired at the same time, he's like, oh yeah, well, I've got all of these like retro consoles that I'm repairing and like soldering back together. Alex tells me about his like dune buggy like creation from scratch team that he participated in.
Mad Max shit, probably shoots potatoes at the sides.
Yeah. James is like, I built my own computer.
No, that's not what I said. I said, okay, well, what do you mean, like building your own computer? And you said, actually, I would consider that to be pretty basic. And I was like, oh. Okay, hope I make it to the next round.
Yeah, so somehow you ended up around here. Okay, so sorry,
given that perspective,
yeah,
I was blown away by the fact that this puppy spins. Because then you can just hold it in one hand, and as you spin, you don't have to reset your hand. That's just amazing. There's so many people face palming right now. And tool of the week, this puppy, is this the Spudger?
I actually, you know what? I'm gonna confess.
They all got cool names.
I can't remember which one's the Spudger. I think it's the black pokey one. I'm pretty sure that's
whatever
the
this is
Spudger.
called. I'm just gonna give it a newer name right now.
I don't know if
the
we're allowed to
Unboxer.
do that.
I use this
Yeah,
thing to
this
just...
is the Spudger. You're gonna get us in trouble with
so much
every
more
sponsor.
spudgy, though.
Oh, why do I let you come on this show live?
I was talking to the iFixit ladies at LTX, and we were making all sorts of good names for these things. This is a pokey. Anyway, this is great for opening boxes. A lot of people who work here just have like knives on their keychains, like Linus does, Tyler does. They unbox things all day. I haven't got to that level yet because I'm a minimalist. On my keychains, I actually have a separate keychain just for my car key and the key that unlocks this office. That way on the weekend, I don't have to have those extra two keys. That's how much I hate things being in my pocket. So this thing is awesome for just opening up a new box of fans. Love it, totally worth the price of admission.
All right, well, I'm sure that most of you will find over at iFixit.com/Linus, $60. I'm sure most of you will find more complex things to work on with that. Speaking of working on complex things, Alex, are you done with that? Or
yeah, it's done.
You're done? Okay, cool.
Conclusion right now.
Okay, do you want to come on and join the show?
Sure.
Okay, cool. All right.
I actually get to go home.
Yeah, Anthony already left.
Did he? What time is it? Oh,
Correct.
wow, it's 6. Oh, well, I can't make you join the show, but if you want to, then you can. Otherwise, I'll just sit here and be a show all by myself.
Bye, everybody.
Yep, see ya.
Goodbye.
I'm DC.
All
Have a good weekend.
right.
Oh, how do I make this fine?
So, Alex, do you want to do they know who you are? I don't know if they know who you
I
are.
think some of them, maybe.
Okay.
I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, Alex is a Toronto Blue Jays fan. Apparently, I actually didn't know. You watch baseball?
When they get into the playoffs, yes.
Okay, so you're a typical Canadian baseball fan.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we've only got one team, and Gee, 182 games is a lot to watch in a year, so
Yeah.
yeah.
I'd say the same about hockey, but being a Toronto fan, like, then I wouldn't watch a game in like the past 20 years. So.
Are you a Toronto fan?
Yeah.
What?
It's the closest team. Well,
It
because
is
Montreal,
not. Montreal is
evil.
the closest team.
Montreal's evil, though.
Not to mention that, like, anyone else is the closest team to being worthy of your fandom. I mean, that's a factor as well.
They're just
Toronto.
I don't know. I wanted to be a rebel. Everyone in my household is a Montreal fan, and I was just like, you know what? No, I'm being a Toronto fan, and stirred things up.
All right. Well, speaking of fans, these CPUs are definitely going to need fans because they have a lot of cores. Wow, that was a great segue. I still got it, baby. So this was posted by Ezzy on the forum, and the original article is from over on AnonTech. Intel launches Xeon-W CPUs for workstations. So, there's some good news here. The good news is, I guess, that now on the workstation, you can get support for up to 512 gigs of ECC, so that's error-correcting memory. It goes all the way from 4 cores to 18 cores in the Xeon-W family, so I guess that's cool. Extended memory support, vPro, Intel's AMT, standard reliability, serviceability, and availability features. So it's good in that there's like a higher end workstation platform, but it's kind of sucky in that basically Intel has gone from quite a few generations ago where LGA 775 and 771 were pretty much a little piece of tape apart, and you could kind of like mod one to the other, and you could pretty easily run sort of workstation chips in mainstream boards and vice versa. To now, this requires an all-new chipset, and we've got sort of their enterprise server Xeons, we've got consumer, and then we've got this in between. And there's not a lot of interchangeability, in spite of the fact that there's really no compelling reason for why that would have to be physically.
Yeah, like 1366, you could just take an i7 and plop in a Xeon, and like it wouldn't even matter, right?
Yep. In fact, I mean, running server-grade processors in consumer motherboards is something that I have personally done. Like back in the day with my Opteron 165 on socket 939. The great thing about the Opteron 165 is that it was a good value because it ran at a super low clock speed, but by putting it in a consumer board, you could overclock the stuffing out of it and you could get great performance per dollar. This is just artificially locking down the performance per dollar that's available, and just, you know, there you go. With that said, I don't think there's really any, I think it's, okay, I guess Intel's other behavior over the last little while has made it less of a factor because it's not like anything that's not an X or a K SKU is overclockable anyway, and these chips are going to come in more expensive than the equivalent Core i9s anyhow, so there would be, other than the second-hand market, no compelling reason to go and buy one of these if you don't need ECC memory support.
Well, also there's that they just have, is it functionally any different than i9, or they're just locking you out in many different ways for different markets?
No, it actually really doesn't look that different. So if you go ahead and have a look at the lineup here, let's go ahead and go down. So here you go. Here's how they're differentiating it. There's Expert, Xeon Scalable. So the equivalent used to be the E5 2600. So this is what we would have used for projects like 7 Gamers 1 CPU in like dual socket motherboards, that kind of thing. Xeon-W is what would have been E5 1600, and then Xeon E3 is entry. So this would probably be what would have previously been like LGA 115X Xeons, where you don't actually get like the quad channel memory or anything like that. You just get ECC. So AVX 512 acceleration. Up to yep. Okay. So yeah, pretty much you get a couple 4 cores, a couple 6 cores, an 8, a 10, a 14, and an 18. One thing I don't know is how these base frequencies and turbo frequencies compare to the Core i9s, and pricing is still unclear, but what we can at least kind of figure out is that this looks pretty darn similar to the 7900X and it is another $440 for pretty much those, enterprise features and ECC memory.
Well, in fairness, the
And you don't get overclocking anymore, I'm assuming.
2125 actually doesn't look that horrible.
Yeah, but why would you buy a quad core at $400? This is basically what?
Well, but how much is a 7700K?
A 7740K, right? And a 7740K can be had for cheaper than that, and it's overclockable. And I wouldn't run out and invest in this kind of, like, an LGA 2066 platform for a quad-core processor. That's just, like, kind of dumb.
Yeah, it's, like, not too bad if you're in a situation that you're never going to have.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at on that. Actually, this is cool. So Ian from AnonTech went ahead and did a little comparison chart here. So here's a comparison between the top SKUs on each platform. So the super high-end one, which actually now gets a new socket. So that allows it to have more cores, more PCIe no more PCIe lanes, but far more cores, up to 28 cores and 56 threads, and 6-channel memory. That one's going to cost you anywhere from $10,000 to $13,000 for
That's
a Xeon
quite the price.
8180. And then on the sort of the high-end workstation / high-end desktop platforms, you're looking at $2,000 TBD. But if I had to guess, I'd probably say around $3,000 or $3,500. You get a few more PCIe lanes, so the same as the very high-end Xeons, and then you get very similar clock speeds. Actually, a little bit more on boost, a little bit less on base, and a lower TDP, and then more memory support and registered memory support. So, yeah, I guess that's the thing. Why don't we move on?
Yeah. So are we still on Intel?
Yeah, Core i7 8700K benchmarks have been leaked. This was posted originally on the forum by, I'm not sure, James forgot to put that in. Oh, I wish I had gotten to this one when he was here. This was posted by Raven Shrike on the forum, and the original article here is from WCCF Tech.
Goodness.
So this is a really, really interesting chip, because word on the street, according to, the leaked box art here and the leaked benchmarks here, is that per core clock speed and performance is going to be pretty frickin' similar to the CPU that it's replacing, the 7700K, except that it's going to have 6 cores on what will presumably be a similarly priced mainstream motherboard and chipset platform. 6 cores! Mainstream!
I'm excited.
Intel ran out and finally delivered us a high-end desktop platform worth writing home about, and then went and made it irrelevant to the vast majority of consumers for whom 6 core is definitely super enough only a few months later. It's exciting. It's a great time to be alive. What do we got here? What are the leak specs?
So it's a 3.7 gigahertz base frequency with boosts up to, well, the only really interesting one is 4.7 gigahertz on one core. So
You think that's the only interesting one? I am going to argue with you. I think the 4.5 gigahertz 2-core boost is actually more important with how many games these days are taking advantage of 2 cores.
Well, that's the same as the 7700K, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. But the word on the street, though, is that we're looking at a 10% IPC improvement. So this thing could show up and absolutely kick the stuffing out of the computer that any chumps out there who ran out and bought a 7700K, it could be like the old days where every generation we had this deep buyer's remorse and we felt like there was actually enough of a performance improvement to be worth going out there and buying a new one. So, word on the street is that it's going to cost $350 when it launches, but with a 10% IPC improvement, similar clock speeds, so you're looking at 10% faster right out of the gate, plus that it could be up to 50% faster in heavily multi-threaded benchmarks and applications. I mean, this thing could show up and be legitimately 140% in the real world, 140, 150% the speed of a 7700K in something like video encoding.
And I guess also that's really bad news for AMD, because that's kind of their buttery zone right now, where they're like, we have many cores.
It is going to put some pressure on Ryzen 7. With that said, I mean, AMD has shown a definite willingness to roll up their sleeves. Like they're rolling up the sleeves all the way to the point where, like...
You are so white. Oh my god.
Roll up the sleeves all the way to the point where there's no sleeves left anymore when it comes to adding more cores to CPUs, just because YOLO.
And also, they probably have a lot left over, like in the tank for Ryzen. Like, hopefully, as they continue to improve it, we'll see just generally it being better.
Well, when Jim Keller left AMD, so he left for Tesla, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
So he left AMD to go to Apple, then he left Apple to go back to AMD to, like, rescue them, as far as I can tell, and then left to go to Tesla. AMD made it very clear that his departure did not mean the end of the Zen architecture. Like,
Yeah.
Zen 2.0 is already mapped out, is my understanding. So... we already went through that topic. Galaxy Note 7 owners will apparently get a massive discount on the Note 8. So that's cool.
Goodbye, Nick.
Bye, Nick.
Have a good long weekend.
Oh, I was so upset about this topic. This was posted by Minibeats on the forum. The original article here is from PC Gamer. You guys should go check it out.
Why are you upset by that one?
I'm upset because it never got released. I
Oh.
liked the Nvidia Shield Portable.
Really?
And a prototype. All right, choose your words carefully, Mr. Enjoys being employed here.
I just never really saw the appeal of it.
What's not to like? It's a handheld console that plays Android games and that streams your PC games.
So Android games are never great, and PC games are only best played on a PC.
What about PC platformers?
Yeah, what about... Okay, I played through all of Tomb Raider on the Nvidia Shield. Whole game. Never felt like I was having a bad experience, and the graphics were freaking awesome, because it's a portable platform.
Okay, but
And you can't say...
I did not enjoy Tomb Raider at all. I like played a bit of it and was like,
GTA 5.
Yeah, there, fine, GTA 5, who cares? Any
Okay.
game that plays well with a controller played great on the Shield Portable. And basically, yeah, this prototype, which looks like it has some seriously awesome improvements, smaller bezels, that was like one of the only things that I really felt like had to be fixed. They changed some of the button placements. It looks a bit more ergonomic. Oh, man. Just one prototype made it into the wild, and that's it. I even sent, Shield Portable was something that I would send fairly frequent sort of pings to our NVIDIA rep about, like, hey, when are you guys, like, doing a thing that's a new thing? Because, like, this is kind of an old processor now. And they just never replied. And it made me sad. Screen was apparently brighter. It shut down instantly instead of taking a couple seconds. And, yeah, so I'm sad. Apparently nobody else is sad.
yeah, I couldn't care less, really. But
Well, thanks. Speaking of things that we couldn't care less about, actually, this does seem kind of important. YouTube begins isolating offensive content this week. They won't be able to run ads or, and this is interesting, be shared on other websites. So Google announced this in June, that they would begin isolating YouTube videos that weren't directly in violation of its standards, but contained controversial religious or supremacist content. So the videos that fall into this category, aside from not being able to run ads or be monetized, won't have comments disabled and may have a warning screen appear before they play. This is meant to curtail engagement and minimize the video's reach. So creators affected by the policy will receive a note and will be able to appeal the decision if they feel like the restrictions are unwarranted.
well, I guess first of all, how do they flag it? Because I know their last rollout went horribly.
Well,
and a lot of people
yeah.
got falsely flagged.
Yeah.
So if they're able to improve that a bit, that's an improvement, I guess, but
Let's see how it goes, is
Yeah.
all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I don't have high hopes for that. And what was the other thing that I was going to say about this? It also seems like it's going to have a lot of people that are just saying like, oh, they're just trying to like hurt my free speech, and then they might almost get more shares out of being like my free speech is hurt, as opposed to just not being no one really caring.
All right, so let's move on from that to something completely uncontroversial.
So, I just wanted to check. I haven't checked the document yet. Do you guys have the Juicero news in there?
The Juicero news?
No?
Did you see it?
No. Oh, I did hear about this, though. I thought, you know what? I think James specifically asked me if I wanted the Juicero news in here.
Oh, they're shutting down.
And I
Spoiler
specifically
alert.
told him yes. I don't know how to spell Juicero.
Juicero.
I think you mean J-U-I, but sure.
G-lol.
J-U-I.
Okay, so like,
Yeah, no, he didn't put it in. Okay, so hold on. Let's go grab an article here. Here's Verge's article. Juicero is shutting down. Apparently they're trying to get bought. So that's pretty cool.
I'm so surprised that they're shutting down. Said no one ever.
All customers have up to 90 days to request a refund for their purchase of the Juicero press, regardless of when they bought it. Employees are being given 60 days notice.
so like, have you seen the insides of one of these though? It's like super impressive. The like level of over-the-top engineering is like insane. It's like they gave someone like their first engineering job and they were like, make it the best. And instead of them like doing anything besides making it the best, they only made it the best. It's like the aluminum's like this thick in spots. It's crazy. There's no purpose for it to be like that, and they must be losing heaps of money. But like, if these are all just going out, if you're like a creator or like you like mod things, just pick one up like off the side of the road. It will like, there's amazing stuff inside of it.
Fair enough. All right, here's something uncontroversial, equally uncontroversial. The Pico Goblin, the ultra-portable first fully untethered VR headset. Their claim to fame for this thing is that it doesn't require a PC, it doesn't require any cables, it doesn't require a phone, nothing. Mind you, I could have designed the Pico Goblin by taking some double-sided tape and a Samsung Gear VR or a Google Cardboard and taping them together. Because to say that it doesn't require a phone and then tell me that it's running a Qualcomm Snapdragon 820 CPU with a 5.5-inch 2560 by 1440 resolution display, 3G high-speed connectivity, doesn't say how much, but LPDDR4 RAM, 16 gigs of eMMC 5.1 ROM, and a 3500 milliamp hour battery, is basically like telling me that you guys engineered a phone and then glued a headset to it.
That actually sounds a lot like the specs for the LG G4.
Specs for every phone
Yeah.
ever. With that said, it's cheap, so it's available for pre-order for $269 if you wanted a craptastic VR experience, because unless it's tracked outside in right now, we are not there yet. But where we are is at the end of the show. So Alex, unless you looked like you were going to say something.
No?
Okay.
All right.
I'm rolling the outro.
Goodbye, people.
They can't hear you. There's music.
Pretty sure they can still hear us
Well,
like
they
a
can.
little bit.
Yeah, it's just uncomfortable.
Some people complain. I don't know. I kind of like it.
G4 was 808, dude. Not even close. So yeah, why don't you just get crapped on right there?
Does anyone actually care about the Snapdragon processors though?
Yeah.
Like they matter a bit, but they're all kind of the same thing.
Well, like they get faster.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.